He says he told me, and my guy Jordan is over there. He said, now they're gonna come for you. I said, can't come for me for what? I didn't say anything.
Right.
He said they're gonna come. And they're gonna say a lot of different things. And they're gonna be some people that you thought you might be able to get that they're not gonna come now.
Right.
And that's absolutely happening.
The genius of Katt Williams is that by the time you realize he's also talking about you, Shannon, it's too late.
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors. Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. Well, they went around the world for 2 years straight telling any women that would listen that this was a good-looking. Since when? When did y'all start liking a big nose? And when did y'all like a little head and a big jaw? When? Since when? That look like my daddy. When you start liking my daddy? You like black people's features like that? If this ugly is good looking.
That's 3 fingers down. Is he pointing to Shannon right there?
Then all is good looking. Anytime you see them telling you something you can't believe, just understand it's a play. Get out of here. Get out of here, ugly boy.
So it looks like Shannon Sharpe is big mad because his viral Katt Williams interview is a warning that anytime you let guests spill tea on a bunch of well-known people, you're going to draw a huge crowd. But at what cost? Shannon must have known that there would be consequences. What did Shannon really say about his career taking a nosedive after that interview with Katt Williams, and who in the industry is supposedly trying to ban him? Let's break it down.
I didn't know it was gonna cause this kind of ripple. I didn't think it was gonna move me in the direction. I'm glad it did. I understand what comes along with that. But if you remember, he said it. He said, this is gonna put you in another dimension.
He definitely did.
In case you missed it, Shannon Sharpe recently did an all-out confessional interview with Cam Newton, in which he talked about all the crazy things that have happened to him since that viral interview with Katt Williams earlier this year. Cam first asked Shannon how he stays neutral when his guests start insulting or making up stories about celebrities that Shannon has already had on his show, and Shannon said that he just lets them talk and doesn't check the facts of what they say. Shannon then talked about the problem between Katt Williams and Ricky Smiley. He said it's not his job to police what guests say, so he just thinks they're telling the truth.
And look at those same podcasts when they don't mention Shannon Sharpe.
That's right.
And then you'll understand why they're mentioning Shannon Sharpe.
Right. I could dig it. And at the end of the day, what you do is what you do.
Yes.
I think that has nothing to do with it.
But I mean, you would think by now, somebody would have outed Shannon Sharpe if he was living that lifestyle. Somebody would have outed.
Yeah. I think really, too, as we, keep everything moving forward as well as positive. When I asked this question of how do you remain neutral between the guest telling the story and or the person they're telling the story about, how do you find credibility in that?
Cam, what I try to do is that some guests I know more about than others.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've prided myself on doing is not listening to any other interviews that guest may or may not have had, because I don't want it to cloud my judgment about what to think about said individual. So if you notice my interviews, they normally go about 2 hours or longer because I don't interrupt. I'm having a conversation. You and I having a conversation, you're not gonna cut me off, I'm not gonna cut you off.
Right.
And so I just let the guests talk. I'm assuming, like when I had Katt on, I had Ricky Smiley on at first, and we was talking about the Friday situation. Ricky said he was originally supposed to play Money Mike. I didn't know that. I didn't know if anybody, so I'm thinking, I'm getting some information ain't nobody else knows.
It's new news.
Yes, so I'm like, oh man. Ricky said he was originally supposed to be Money Mike instead of the thieving Santa Claus. So I felt good. A couple of days later, Katt says that's a lie. And so I'm like, what? Why is he upset? I mean, it's not like he said that Katt did a bad job as Money Mike. I didn't realize, in what Katt later came on to refute, it said that wasn't the case. So they were like, when Katt said, you let him lie, I said, Katt, I'm assuming, I wasn't on the set. I'm assuming that what he's saying is true because he was there. I've got no reason to believe that he or she is coming on the show lying.
Correct.
So for me, it's like, I've told people, I'm not 60 Minutes. I'm not Dateline. I'm not 48 Hours. I'm not one of these investigative journalists that I'm trying to get to the root. There's a whistleblower that says that somebody has secrets in their basement or something. That's not what I am, Cam. I'm having a conversation. Me and a guest is having a conversation. I said, is there anything that you don't want to talk about? I always ask the guest that. Sometimes they say, well, I would appreciate if we not talk about this.
Right.
Cool, no problem. Because I believe you can tell your story without saying something negative. But yes, I believe a person that's been in a business, that's been doing something 10, 15, 20, 30 years are more than one salacious story.
Right.
That's what I believe. So if they say they want to stay away from it, but if they want to tell something, who am I to say, nah, don't do, you can't tell that.
Right.
People are, Cam,
So
we know why they're upset.
Come on now.
Shannon then talked about how Katt showed proof for all of his claims. He said again that it's not his job to argue too much and that he mostly just wants to let the guests talk.
He had studied every interview that I had done, conversation I had, he had studied. Because a lot of things that we didn't mention on the show, he was talking about it but if you notice, he was like, he was doing that, he did this a lot. So his recall, everything that somebody had said, that he had a question, it didn't happen like that. Because I asked Said, Katt once accused you of stealing a joke. Said, I didn't steal the joke because the timeline doesn't match up. And I think he said something to the effect, if you look at how his joke ended, how mine ended. Katt came back, he refuted that. I want credibility. I want people to be able to share their story without me interrupting. I think sometimes people in our position that do what you and I do, they want to hear their voice instead of the guest. Well, I can go home and hear myself talk if I wanted to, if that's what I wanted to hear. I think for the most part that people tune in to watch my pod because they want to hear what the guests have to say. I let the guests speak. People say, well, you push back on Amanda Seales. And all I said was, Amanda, did you think being a child, correcting a teacher in front of the students, could it have been something else other than racism? That's all. And people lost it. Well, you didn't push back. I asked Monique. Monique said Oprah asked her to interview for a role, to go read for a role. She went and read for the role. Oprah ended up getting the role. I said, Mo, did you ever think they were looking for a heavyset black woman? And it wasn't because the industry was against you.
Right.
She said, my brother, I didn't think about it like that. But see, they don't mention that.
Right.
Because that wouldn't, I've got to try to do something to try to quell this momentum that this wave that Shannon is riding. So any way I can try to undercut him or to make him look like I'm not a journalist. I never told anybody I was a journalist. I said I'm a conversationalist. But what people are upset about is that for some reason people come to me and I don't look at them with judgy eyes. I have no predetermined notion or preconceived notions, and they open up to me.
Right.
That's what they're upset about. Because if you look at a lot of these people that's been on other podcasts, they don't do the views that they do when they come on Club Shay Shay.
Shannon then went on to talk about how the success of his interview with Katt really shot his podcast to new heights, and Katt totally called it, predicting that the interview would be a game changer for Shannon's show. But CAD also warned Shannon that certain industry big shots would come out after him with a vengeance for giving Katt a platform to spill all their dirty secrets. And according to Shannon, that's exactly what happened. Shannon said that he's thankful for the huge rise in popularity caused by Katt's explosive revelations, but he's also facing some serious fallout, just as Katt had warned him. Apparently, some people in the industry don't like how Shannon laughed at Katt's jokes about them being exposed, and now they're working behind the scenes to bring down Shannon's platform as payback.
I didn't know it was gonna cause this kind of ripple. I didn't think it was gonna moved me in the direction. I'm glad it did. I understand what comes along with that. But if you remember, he said it. He said, this is gonna put you in another dimension.
He definitely did.
He said,
but my mama said, boy, there's power in the tongue.
yes. He says he told me, and my guy Jordan is over there. He said, now they're gonna come for you. I said, can't come for me for what? I didn't say anything.
Right.
He said, they're gonna come. And they're gonna say a lot of different things. And they're gonna be some people that you thought you might be able to get, that they're not gonna come now.
Right.
And that's absolutely has happened. That's absolutely has happened. They were so excited. Thanks for reaching out. We can't wait to sit down. And a day later, they can't do it. And then no call, they won't follow, so for the song.
Shannon admitted that he knows what it means to have someone like C. Williams on his show, but he didn't think there would be so much backlash and negativity.
I understand what comes along with an interview like that. Did I expect it? No. Did I expect all the negativity that came along? Because, I had Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey did 8 million views, had Coach Prime, I've had a lot of comedians. Right. And some of the comedians had taken shots at other comedians, but nothing like this. I didn't expect the vitriol to come, especially from some of the people, and I'm not gonna say we were friends, but I'm saying we were cordial, we were friendly towards each other. Some people that I've kind of helped behind the scenes, and to see them attack, oh, I wouldn't have let him do this, I wouldn't have said that. But you know what? It took me a long time, Cam. Because when you play sports, you understand that Atlanta fans, even though you're from Atlanta, they're gonna have a little resentment towards you because you beating their team.
Right.
Or certain fan bases are gonna feel a certain type of way. And I felt that the better the player, the more vitriol and hate he's gonna get from opposing fans. I got that. But in this situation, I can honestly say I did not expect the level of vitriol and the suddenness. That's what really got me, the suddenness, because it was like when Cam dropped.
And get this, Shannon also claimed that the recent uptick in rumors about him apparently being on the DL is a direct consequence of having Katt Williams on his show. According to Shannon, certain people in the industry rumors about his sexuality, all in an attempt to discredit him and bring down his show.
Right.
It's like, all of a sudden, he gay now.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you do see, Unc Zesty, or, stepping outside of, I don't know now, and we don't never see him post no woman, he just got all these damn dogs. Red flag. From the horse's mouth himself, it's like, how do you respond?
I'm in a no-win situation. Because if I respond, they say hit dog holler. Mm-hmm. If I don't respond, they say, well, if it wasn't true, he would say something. So if I respond, I'm a hit dog. If I don't respond, he's hiding something. So how do I win? I win. Hey, they're gonna say what that's the thing that I didn't realize, that when I really got into this, there's this celebrity, this kind of fame here, Cam, is on a different level. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was a damn good football player. I won Super Bowls, I'm in the Hall of Fame, but this is 20 times the magnification of what I was as an athlete.
So my question is it because of the power of social media, mm-hmm, or is it the evolution of you?
It's a combination of both, and that's why I don't let people play with my name. Everybody knows there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's not. I'm just not gay. And most straight men don't let you play with their name like that.
Especially not in our culture.
No. But see, also, in our culture, if I want to try to emasculate you or what do I say? I say he's gay. Because no matter what you think, that's still, in our culture, that's still kind of frowned upon. Mm-hmm. And people, they'll say all these things, well, it's okay. And I don't have a problem with it. I have people that work for me that's their life. That's their life. That's not my life. I don't judge what you do in your home, what you go to bed with, who you wake up as. That ain't got nothing to do with Shannon Sharpe.
Right.
That ain't my bed. That was the hardest thing, because it was almost like they were trying to convince me that I was something that I'm not, but I kept repeating it.
Now, Shannon's sexuality aside, let's talk about these industry figures who supposedly tried to get revenge on Shannon for giving Katt a platform. There are actually a few people who openly slammed Shannon and accused him of putting other Black people down for views. First, there was Steve Harvey, who initially said he wouldn't be speaking on anything Katt had to say about him on Club Chase because he's all about positivity. Steve also took to X to share a video of himself giving out advice on Family Feud on how to rise above the hate, and he captioned it, "You don't have to address your haters."
Oh no, you ain't gotta tell nobody nothing. All you gotta do is be it. You ain't gotta say, you don't have to open your mouth. You don't have to do it, man. He prepares a table in the presence of mine enemies. He do it all the time. All my haters, I ain't gotta say nothing to them. They got TV. They can cut their TV on 7 days a week. All that hating, he on there. Oh man, I don't even worry about it. You know, I've learned how to handle haters, man. And the only reason you have haters is because you're effective. You have haters for two reasons. You're doing something that they're jealous of, or God is preparing to take you somewhere and the devil is providing opposition. Those are the reasons you have haters. God is about to do something and the devil has to throw opposition. Those are the two reasons you have haters. I got plenty of haters. When I get them, man, I always look and see what God finna do. Like I got somebody really attacking me right now. I mean, really going after me, man. I'm just waiting to see what God gonna do. Cause they're gonna have to get on. Now, everybody that came after me before, you eventually had to get on. Cause they can't listen to me, man. Can't nobody stop what God got for you. And nobody, there ain't a man living can stop not one thing God got for you. Oh, don't even worry about them haters, man. Just all you gotta do is just keep shining. They see you. You ain't got to say nothing.
But see, it seems Katt really got under Steve's skin, and Steve couldn't resist addressing the drama, so he chose to spill the tea on a pre-recorded episode of the Steve Harvey radio show. And get this, he didn't hold back suggesting that Katt might just be a big old liar. Steve said to be careful when you hear something that's laid out to be the truth, and because the person that's telling you what they say is true is speaking eloquently, don't be fooled by that. There are some people who know how to lie so well. They know how to put in just enough truth and wrap it inside their lies, where they got you thinking someone is telling the truth. But that wasn't the end of it. During Steve's recent Golf Classic event, he again addressed Katt Williams in the club in an interview, and he straight up said that Katt ain't is and that he would happily destroy him.
A young man without a role model is like an explorer without a map. How do you figure manhood out without talking to another man? And I want to say Katt Williams ain't shit. Shit I wanted to say. I can't say it on the radio. I don't use my platform to bring nobody down. But when I'm live, though, I'll destroy you.
And then there was DL Hughley, who also had a lot to say about Club Shay, especially after Monique's explosive showing. Shortly after, DL went on his Instagram Live to rant about Club Shay, and he called out Shannon Sharpe for being messy, saying he's Wendy Williams with a weight set.
It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere, she just got a weight set.
But Shannon fired back at DL, saying he's not out there spreading gossip, and he simply lets guests say what they have to say.
I saw DL's, he said, nah, I'm the new Wendy Williams with a weight set. I'm like, bro, why are you mad at me?
He call you the what?
He said I was Wendy Williams with a weight set. So in other words, he said,
that's funny though, huh?
Oh, okay.
That's a good one.
You gotta laugh at that
That's a
one.
good one. I like that.
But check this out. I ain't doing no gossiping.
Right.
They say what they say, I'm done with it.
Right.
I ain't going back and forth. Ooh, tell me more, Monique. Tell me more. Or tell me more, Katt. Tell me more. He said what he said. I'll move on to the next subject.
But then none other than Dave Chappelle chimed in, even though Katt didn't say anything negative about Chappelle during his club show visit. Dave slammed Katt for apparently only dissing black comedians.
He only eats the He didn't say anything about any of these white boys. And none of these white boys function like that. And Katt is one of the best haters in the game. Stop. And Katt hurt people, but I'm a hurt person that never hurt people. And he does it all the time. This one and that one and this one. But anything that you did wrong. You didn't do nothing wrong? I'm gonna bring a black guy. Katt did this to me. Katt was talking about shit that he did to other people, but not about anything that he did to him. If I told my story, it would break your heart. I lost everything. and never, ever told on anybody.
But fans were quick to check Dave, reminding him that Katt clearly said that this is not about no plan. There would be many negative responses to Katt's interview. It looks like fans are not sure how to feel about Shannon's words, and a lot of them are saying there's no way Shannon didn't know what would happen. One fan said what Shannon needed to do was treat it like these are Katt's views, not mine. I know he said that, and that's how he felt, but people with egos like Steve Harvey are only going to see Shannon laughing at everything Sadie said and having a good time. Sure, it's a petty outlook, but that's how people are. I don't think Shannon needed to be fake, but I think he should have expected that type of backlash. It happens in sports news, like how that McGee player got mad with shocked about always being exposed for his goofy plays, and another person added, how could you not expect negativity from an interview that was pure messiness and negativity? And then some fans also criticized Shannon for being a hypocrite because he didn't challenge Katt on any of his claims, and yet he had a completely different energy towards some other guests on his show. For example, actor and comedian Amanda Seales. Amanda appeared on Club Shot back in April and talked about everything from her new autism diagnosis. Her self-diagnosis is important to add to her experience, as is her reported feud with Issa Rae, and some people found Shannon very combative. Some people said it seemed like he was trying to annoy her on purpose.
Just because you see things differently, it doesn't mean that you're on the spectrum or you...
This isn't related to simply how I see things. This is related to how my brain functions.
Yes. But just because your brain functions differently from, say, mine.
Yes.
So you feel just because your brain functions differently that's what caused it, or there's a clinical diagnosis that
There are clinical diagnoses.
For you?
Yes, there are clinical diagnoses for autism, yes. So when I was at Disney,
yes,
and I was in the situation at Disney, I was there as the only Black girl.
Okay.
And so I was called an N-word right there while I was there. And I was also there because I was told that you're only here because you're Black. Does that suffice as or would you want to call it something else? Is that just kids being mean?
The kids. So let me ask you a question. As a child, you never said anything derogatory? You was just this model citizen as a child?
Someone said that if Shannon was trying to play devil's advocate with Amanda, that's fine. A lot of writers do that, and that's what makes an interview interesting. But C-Fan said, I think the issue that everyone had with Shannon was that he didn't check Katt at any point, including when he became the hero. In every story, Shannon had all this smoke for and to Seales, but had none for an embellisher who was wrestling a child in the street. And then someone else wrote, so Katt ruined Shannon Sharpe's show just to promote his lame comedy special he did a couple of months later, SNH. And he said he wasn't there to sell anything, he sold Shannon. But what is your perspective on this? Do you think Shannon really had no idea that there would be so much backlash over his Katt Williams interview? And is there something he should have done differently? Leave your thoughts in the comment part below. And don't miss out on this next video.